My family and food is my passion, and shopping for the very best fresh ingredients is what makes all the difference. Join me as we go on a journey of heartwarming food filled with mouth-watering dishes, bound to get those taste buds tingling. Welcome to my kitchen. When you've invited friends for catch-up and cocktails, you want food that is simple yet stylish. So today on the menu, we're going to make some butternut laksa soup. Then we'll be making some Panko prawns, rosemary and Parmesan flatbreads, and finishing off with a fragrant meat kofta with a hummus sauce. First up, we're going to start with our butternut laksa soup. It's delicious and fragrant, lots of Thai flavors. The base is lemongrass. I picked fresh lemongrass from the garden. It looks exactly like grass. So we cut off the top and we'll remove all the leaves. We've got some chili, butternut, of course it's a butternut laksa soup. We've got some cumin and 5-spice powder, some shallots or onion can be used. I think the shallots are a little bit sweeter. Ginger and garlic as the base, and of course vegetable stock and coconut milk. And we're going to finish it off with a touch of lime and some coconut shavings. We start with our lemongrass. You want to peel off all those extra outside leaves, and that's the soft part, otherwise it's quite gritty on the teeth. And then you want to cut it all the way down the center of the stalk. That releases the flavor. Smash the base. It makes it easier to chop, and we're just going to slice it some nice fresh chilies. I'm a bit nervous of the seeds, so we're going to just put a little smidgen in there. You can always add, but don't make it too strong. I've got some garlic, some 5-spice powder, which is typically Asian, a little bit of cumin, and I'm going to put in about a teaspoon. Right, that's perfect. And then I'm going to add a little piece of ginger, which we just want to peel first. A little knob is all we really need. So nice, just to give me lots of flavor. One for the pot. And I'm going to put a dash of oil in here because that just helps form a paste. I'm using grapeseed oil because it can go to a really high heat. We want to make sure that it's quite fine. I think that's perfect. It's really going to give me a beautiful, beautiful flavor. And add a little bit of oil into the pot so that we can cook that paste. So we're going to peel some shallots or shallots. This is smelling quite amazing. It's got the most beautiful fragrance. I'm going to add those shallots, and I'm going to add the butternut, which I've cut into quite small cubes. You don't want it too big. It really needs to simmer only for 20 minutes, so we don't want them big cubes. Just coat them with the oil, and I'm going to give it a pinch of salt. And I'm using a natural vegetable stock, which actually doesn't have any seasoning, so we'll season the whole thing right at the end. They look coated, they look beautiful. We'll add the stock. We'll add the lemon leaves, and these are from my tree. What I do is just crush them a little bit to release the flavors, and it gives you the most gorgeous fragrance of lemons through the whole soup. Now the coconut milk will go in now. I'm going to put in half the quantity and see if we need to add more later, because the taste will change once it's simmered. Give it a good stir because it tends to separate. So we put in about 1 cup at this stage. And it's so simple. We're going to cover this, let this simmer for about 20 to 30 minutes on a medium to low heat until that butternut is softened, and then we'll finish off the recipe. So while we're waiting, I thought I'd toast some coconut. And coconut shavings are quite dry and bland when they're not toasted. But quite a nice way to do them is to put them on some paper towel. They need quite a bit of time in the microwave. In the oven, they probably need about 4 or 5 minutes on 160 degrees. But in the microwave on high, probably also about 3 to 4 minutes till they start getting toasted. It's beautifully toasted, it's got a lovely crunch, and that will just finish off the soup. I'm sure the butternut's almost ready. It's softened. All that's left is to add my coriander and adjust the seasonings. Give it a good stir, full of flavor. Got gorgeous colors. We want to take the lemon leaves out because those are not so easy to eat. So I've got the fragrance without the leaves. And the lime just finishes it off. There's something about it, not lemon but lime, that just gives me that gorgeous ending to a beautiful fragrant soup. It's lovely in little dishes where people can just sip them. And we're going to top that with a few fresh leaves and some shavings of coconut. And there you have it, butternut laksa soup. Delicious, simple, and quick and easy. Next up, we'll be making some Panko prawns and rosemary and Parmesan flatbreads. And later on, we'll be doing meat kofta with a hummus sauce. Remember, if you'd like to try your hand at any of these recipes, they're available on the Home Channel website. Today we're preparing a fun menu for cocktails with friends. We've already made a butternut laksa soup. We're going to be doing some crunchy Panko prawns with an Asian dipping sauce, and then some rosemary and Parmesan flatbreads to go with our meat kofta, which we'll make later. So let's get started with our Panko prawns. Panko are Japanese breadcrumbs. They're crunchy and delicious and stay crunchy once you've fried your prawns. They can be done with anything, fish or meat or chicken. So unlike normal breadcrumbs, they're going to give you a much more coarse exterior. We need some flour and some eggs with the crumbs in order to coat the prawns. The prawns have been deveined and peeled, but I've left the tails on because it looks really pretty when they're finished. And then we're going to fry them in some sunflower oil and make a light dipping sauce to go with them. So in the sauce, I'm putting some orange, ginger, some soy sauce, a little bit of sticky brown sugar, and a drop of water just to finish it off. So let's get started. We need to heat some oil, and this is really quick frying. The prawns will take about 2 to 3 minutes each. We need to put the flour in a bowl and add a little bit of salt and pepper to it, just to flavor the prawns. Then I'm going to whip my eggs to coat them. They take literally 2 to 3 minutes, so the oil should be quite hot that they can go in and come out straight away. We're always going to do flour first. So just lightly coat the prawns. Then dip them into the egg. And make sure that they're really well coated. And then into your panko. They're golden, gorgeous. I've turned them and they're starting to turn pink. And that's a sign of when a prawn is ready. This size, which is probably a queen, probably need about 3 minutes. But you can actually see the color changing as they cook. And I know they'll be perfectly done. So we're going to add a few more to the pan. Don't overcrowd it because otherwise it takes the heat away and they tend to then sit in the oil too long. These are done. They're beautiful and golden. We'll drain them on some paper towel and finish off the rest of them. While these are frying, let's make our dipping sauce. It's quite simple. We need a little bit of soya, about a tablespoon. I've got some beautiful sticky treacle brown sugar, and it needs to rest a little bit, this, because we're going to make it and the sugar won't dissolve. So good 1 to 2 fat teaspoons, some garlic, a little bit of ginger, about a tablespoon of orange juice. Right, we'll just whisk that up and leave it for the sugar to dissolve. So we'll just drain them on the paper towel. Let's pour the sauce into the dish. Prawns go in here. And you want to leave them open as long as possible so that they don't get soggy if they sit on top of each other. So on a flat tray is quite a good idea. You can leave them on the baking paper and just keep them warm in a very low oven. We decorate with a dash of coriander. And there you have it, your Panko prawns with Asian dipping sauce. Right, let's get started with our rosemary and Parmesan flatbread. The base, of course, is flour. We've got some baking powder, a little bit of salt, some olive oil and boiling water, as well as rosemary and Parmesan. So we need to take a bowl, a little bit of baking powder, pinch of salt. So we need about a cup of Parmesan. And I'm giving it a really nice flavor with the Parmesan. Strong, sharp, beautiful. So we add that to the bowl. And this is like sifting. You don't even need a sifter if you have a whisk, because it'll do exactly the same thing. I use cake flour here, not bread flour. Even though it is a bread, the cake flour is a little bit lighter. So we add the oil. About 1 to 2 tablespoons of oil. And then I need to chop some rosemary. So a couple of tablespoons, finely chopped. Add that. And lastly, we'll add the boiling water. And just slowly pour in the water. It starts coming together. And I'm not going to add more until I see that it's not binding. If I need more, a drop more water will just bring it all together. Right, time to get our hands in there. It's soft, it's beautiful, it's really quite pliable. I definitely don't need water. What I need to do is just mix it all together and get it into a lovely ball. And there we go, we've got a beautiful, soft, manageable dough. So we want to make this into little balls. I'm going to heat a frying pan, but I'm not actually frying them. I'm coating it or brushing it with a little bit of olive oil, just so that they get a beautiful brown when they puff on the pan. And when the pan's really hot, they cook in 2 minutes. So a drop of flour, Now what I want to do is divide this evenly, and the easiest way to do that is to roll it into a long log, then cut it in half, and now we cut again. Now I've made a half recipe here. The full recipe makes 8 balls or 8 flatbreads. So we want to roll each one into a round, because if you start with a round, obviously you're going to finish with a round. You want to roll them as big as you can, because they're going to puff when they go in the pan. And just make sure that you have a little bit of flour on the board so that they don't stick. That's about the size that you want. I'm going to brush them with a little bit of olive oil. My pan is very hot. I'm going to brush the other side with a drop of oil because it looks like it's ready to turn. Flip them over, gorgeous and golden, and they really take a few minutes. You want to cook them until that middle is cooked though, so don't take them off too quickly. If you see color, it doesn't necessarily mean that the middle is done. They need a good 2 to 3 minutes in the pan so that they can puff and get cooked inside. We're going to brush the others while we're waiting. This one's ready. I need to get it out the pan. It's beautiful. Next one goes in. And the beauty about these is you can make them much earlier in the day, stack them beautifully, ready to go, and just cover them with a little bit of foil so that they don't get soggy and that they keep nice and warm. And just before you serve, pop them into the oven for about 10 minutes on a low heat just to warm them through. And there we have it. Our rosemary and parmesan flatbreads are ready, and I have the perfect dish for it. A nice wooden board is perfect for this. You can't deny it's that simple. So we've already made our butternut laksa soup. Our panko prawns with Asian dipping sauce are ready to go. And our parmesan and rosemary flatbreads are perfect for the meat kofta with hummus sauce, which we'll make when we come back. And don't forget, all the recipes are available on the Home Channel website. The most important thing about cocktail parties is that you have time to share the cocktails with your friends and eat finger foods that are not too starchy. So we've already made a butternut laksa soup. We've made some panko prawns with Asian dipping sauce. We've made rosemary and parmesan flatbreads to go with our meat kofta, which we're going to make right now. So for the meat kofta, I have a mix of beef and lamb mince. The reason I'm using both is it gives you just a nice blend of flavors. One is more lean than the other, and they mix really well together. We have some parsley, cumin, coriander, a seasoning salt, a little bit of tomato paste, and some egg. So there are no breadcrumbs in this mixture, it's just bound together with that little bit of egg. Then to go with that, we're going to make a hummus sauce, which is chickpeas, ground chickpeas, some sun-dried tomato pesto just to give it a bit of an added flavor, and a little bit of lemon juice. Let's get started with the meat kofta. So the beef mince and the lamb mince, plus some parsley, and that's just for color. My seasoning salt, some tomato paste, a little bit of paprika, which is just for color, and some coriander for flavor, and then I'll add my egg. Now we're making little oval balls of meat, and they're going to bind together when they go in the pan. We don't want a lot of oil, just enough to coat the pan, so we're going to brown them on a medium heat. I'm using grapeseed oil and just a drizzle at the bottom. and we really need to get down and dirty with this. The easiest way is to get in there and just mix it with your hands. Just needs a bit of salt and pepper. And you always serve a mince well cooked or medium cooked, so they should never be medium rare inside. So we'd rather do them on a lower heat, not too high. And this is for cocktails, so we don't want them too big. We want my guests to just pick them up with their fingers, shape it into a ball and then into an oval, and pop them in the pan. Right, last one goes in, and the others I'm sure are ready to turn. They're beautiful. They've got gorgeous color on the one side, and now we just need to turn them over and do the other side. While they finish cooking, I'm going to make the hummus sauce. So I'm making a small quantity, about a half a cup, some sun-dried tomato pesto, and this just gives me a really nice color and a bit of added flavor, and a little bit of lemon juice. And it's the perfect accompaniment for our rosemary and Parmesan flatbreads. I love putting the meat inside, rolling up that bread with a little bit of this hummus sauce. What more could you want? They're ready, so let's take them out the pan, and the sauce is also done. There's nothing simpler than something like this, which is tasty. You can pick it up in your fingers. Spoon a bit of sauce into this dish. And there you have it, the meat kofta, a little bit of decoration. After a hard week, what better way to end it than with simple, delicious cocktails and snacks with friends. We've made a butternut laksa soup, some meat kofta with a hummus sauce, rosemary and Parmesan flatbreads, and Panko prawns with an Asian dipping sauce. So join me next week when I'll be showing you delicious meals with mince. We'll be making a juicy Italian burger with caramelized onions, a meat lasagna, a minced beef salad, and a yummy meat pie. You don't want to miss it.